Right, let's get into our next discussion now. June 12, 1993. It was a day many Nigerians trooped to the polls, devoid of any ethnic or religious sentiments, to vote for their leader.
It was the first election since the 1983 military coup. The late Mashood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola of the Social Democratic Party is widely believed to have won the election, defeating Bashir Tofa of the National Republican Convention. It adjudged the freest, fairest, and most credible election in the history of the country by local and international observers.
It was annulled by the then military government of Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, leading to a political crisis that saw the late General Sani Abacha seizing power. Now, many people died in the struggle to actualize that mandate, popularly called June 12. It is the 24th anniversary of that annulled election, and many Nigerians feel that June 12 should be the country's Democracy Day instead of the designated May 29th day.
24 years later, what are the enduring lessons of this anniversary for Nigeria's democracy?
Okay, to discuss this with us in the studio is activist and former chairman, politician as well, Ayodele Adewale. Good morning, it's good to have you.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And we also have on Skype mentoring commander, Nigerians in diaspora, Alistair Shoyode. Alistair, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good
All
morning.
right, let's start from the studio. June 12, every Nigerian believe and still believe that that was the freest, fairest, most credible election in Nigeria's history, even until now. But have we really learned how to have that kind of election again in this country?
Well, yes, we have. I mean, looking at what happened in the last election of 2014, yes, we have. Unlike June 12, we had an umpire that was very resilient and fearless. And I wish the then umpire, trying to recount his name now, had that heart and had that strength, that zeal to have said no to the military junta then, and to have pronounced, just to pronounce that result. Then the Nigerian people will take cue from that and ensure that Chief MQ Abiola is not killed, and ensure that he's sworn in by the people. I mean, look at what happened in Gambia. The Gambian people were so resolute, and the pronouncement was made, unlike June 12. So we did learn from that, and I must say that Professor Ataru Jega should be commended to have made that pronouncement. You even saw when that man tried to create an harakiri there. What was that his name now? When he was shouting, when he was no in Nigeria,
okay.
When he was shouting and making Orubebe, creating a drama. And the temperament of Ataru Jega should be commended, because he was so calm, to the extent that he used words to convince and defeat I
remember that morning, that day.
Situation.
Okay, let's bring Alistair in here. Alistair, what's your opinion on what Adewale just said now? 2015 election, praise Jega, not the government of the day that allowed the election to go free and fair, according to some quarters. What is your take on that?
Well, thank you very much. Definitely, there's no doubt that Professor Jega did a very wonderful job within the period and within the resources available. It's an election that everybody was monitoring internationally, locally, and within the African continent. And there is no doubt that it could have been a major crisis in Nigeria if what the former minister decided to do was activated. And so there's no reason why Jega should not be commended. But at the same time, I guess there's quite a lot of other people who were there, likewise, who contributed to the positive result that we have on that day. And of course, going forward, it is very important now within what is happening in the country for people to be very, very mindful talking about politics and democracy in the country.
Alistair, let me stay with you here. A lot of Nigerians are still arguing that June 12 should originally even be the Democracy Day in the country. Do you share in that opinion?
Well, if the majority indeed has been calling for June 12 to be the Democracy Day, there's no doubt, because that is definitely the freest and the fairest election that ever took place in the country. And I presume that the present government, really, if they want to move in that direction, there's only roughly about 2 weeks between May 29 and June 12 for them really to postpone any election, any swearing, any inauguration And I believe that majority of Nigerians, because we're just talking about the governors here and the presidency, that normally have May 29 as a democracy day. I believe that majority will absolutely agree that we can make June 12 the democracy day, which, as I said, is just a delay of 2 weeks, and then we can all fall into the principle of somebody and many people that brought the June 12 into the fruitful that we've seen in Nigeria. And of course, that will help as well for getting the crisis that emerged from that June 12.
All right, Ayodele, some people have also, like you had listed there, June 12 should be the democracy day instead of May 29th. And you expect that people of Yoruba extraction should actually work solidly behind that. But the governor of Ondo State, even though they've declared public holiday, said he still believes that May 29th is the actual democracy day, not June 12th.
It's not a question of should, it's a question of is. June 12 is the democracy day. You cannot have May 29 without a June 12. If June 12 was actualized, there will never be a May 29. So you must get that fact very clearly. And it is not about just pronouncing it as a democracy day. The result must be announced. Abiola must be declared the winner. Everything legitimately rightful to him must be given to his next of kin or the entire family. It's beyond just naming, monuments after Abiola. It's a Nigerian thing. Abiola was just a symbol. There are many people that took part in that history. So many of them are dead. Some of them are alive. You understand? We must put our history aggregately very correct so that such issues will not happen again in time. You understand? If the governor of Ondo State have done that, I think he's just being diplomatic with the issue, and it's being real from the point of law as it is now. Unless we change that status quo by law, you will say May 29. But for the point of reality, June 12 is the People's Democracy Day.
Okay, but let me stay with you here. Talking about June 12, a lot of people have talked about June 12, June 12. But what really made that election so unique?
It is the people.
We can't really let it go.
Look, somebody hurt the history of the Nigerian state, and June 12 is about the people's will, the people's aggregation of purpose, and the people's mandate. People came together, everybody came together to vote for persons of their choice, and the man that got the highest vote was denied of entering. Remember that man also came with programs. The program was not just written by him. The program was written by Nigerians of all nationalities. And coming to your question that Yoruba people must push it, June 12 is beyond the Yoruba person. June 12 is about Nigeria. Remember, and June 12 is even beyond a religious line. That was the first time we had a Muslim ticket. People didn't even see it. People saw the personalities of these individuals, that they were beyond tribes, they were beyond religion, and they were beyond every human self. They were about the people, and the people went and voted for them. And some people in military uniform decided to subvert that. Okay. And the spirit will not rest. The spirit of the Nigerian people will not rest until that pronouncement is given posthumously or otherwise, and Abiola is declared. When you say Abiola is declared, you are declaring the Nigerian people as the winner of that elections, and all the programs that were enshrined to have come to stream will be visibly actualized.
Okay, Alistair, last night I was going through the Ekpetado Declaration and the speech that late Moshood Abiola gave, and he cited issues of unemployment, issue of high rising inflation, issue of contracting growth, the reason why the government has to be given to the people and why the mandate of the people must be respected. Please juxtapose that with what we have today with an unemployment rate going over 14%, growth contracting at about 0.53%, and inflation rate hitting the roof about 18%. What do you have to say to that?
Well, basically, it shows that maybe Nigeria hadn't moved from where we were at that time. And bear in mind what Adewale is actually talking about. 24 years ago, we don't have social media. Our youth at that time were not as mobilized, as aware as they are today. So there's quite a lot of difference when we're talking about policy and program. But the truth of the fact is, indeed, there's quite a lot of unemployment in the country. Even our educational system is something that we have to repackage. So there's a lot of things that need to be done from the perspective of what late MK Abiola actually wrote at that time. We are still more or less in the same position. So we have to ask another question as well. What has happened to all the leaders that have emerged within the last 24 years in the country? And so really and truly, we are in a tight situation as a nation. And this is the time really, as I said, the social media is wonderfully being used. Even here in the United Kingdom, we realize what the youth has empowered the Labour Party to emerge as one of the major success of the election that has taken place, which now, surely enough, here has created a lot of confusion. So looking at the bigger picture, I believe is something that Nigeria can learn from, and then for us to do the right thing and make sure that we empower our youth.
All right, Alistair, let me stay with you here. A lot of people outside the southwest of Nigeria, especially from the north, have argued that MK Abiola has been compensated somehow or the Yorubas have been compensated in the person of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo when he was given the mandate in 1999, and June 12 should be allowed to go. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't really want to use the word compensated because I think this is one of the major problems that we still have as a nation in Nigeria. There's nothing called compensation. There's an election that took place, and they found His Excellency President Olusegun Obasanjo as the best candidate that can win an election for that particular party. Nevertheless, as we know, all our political parties have their own structure, and some of them will say, well, the candidate has to come from such region. And I always say that depends on the political party that is in power or that is seeking to be in power. So it's not an issue about compensation. It's the issue that who is the best candidate that can win an election for a political party. And now when we want to look at it constitutionally, then we have to do the right thing. And if indeed MK Abiola is the winner, entitled to all the privilege of the office, then indeed he should be given all this privilege of the office. But again, it depends on who are the leaders at this particular point of time that should look into what took place 24 years ago and do the rightful and the needful thing. And again, as I said, it's all down to the leaders, it's all down to the political party. So I don't absolutely believe that it's anything to do with compensation. Anybody and everybody who needs to win something in life need to find the right candidate or the right product that will make them victorious at the point of call.
Okay, Adewale, Dele Momodu wrote a piece 2-3 days ago talking about the June 12 election, and he said former head of state Babangida should apologize to Nigerians, one, and that the decision to nullify the election was not solely Babangida's. The Nigeria is being run by a cabal. What we had then, is that what we still have today?
Well, before I answer that question, I will just quickly recount a history that happened sometime when I was seated with Dr. Bekor and Somkuti during his lifetime. And we asked him, some of us in Pronaco then, we asked him that, why is it that you guys rally around Chief Olusegun Obasanjo in 1999? And he just like, oh, that to be honest, that they felt, having been the head of state then, having been incarcerated, imprisoned, having learned from what had happened, he has been at the echelon and at the ebb, and looking at someone who can keep the military back, that as at that time, it was the best that they could find to move us out. Because if you remember, Chief Gani Fawemi was also very skeptical about the process. One, we didn't have a document, a legitimate document that is called a constitution to take us out of that quagmire. And what the military did was just to hush us with a military decree and turn it into a constitution. So Gani felt that wasn't right. Okay. But the rest felt, okay, let's take this route to take us out, then we'll revisit that and all of that. Not that Obasanjo was used to compensate anybody, no. Okay. It was only used to balance the slate, to keep the military back and put them in check.
So you were saying that election, he didn't have the mandate of the people, is that what you're saying?
Which mandate of people?
Obasanjo, so the
election
election
they voted for him.
Was it free, was it fair?
Of course they voted for him, you understand? Of course they voted for him. Either free or fair, the result, I mean, I've stated it, but the aftermath was not the thinking of the left. The left were thinking that, okay, this guy come in, do the needful, convoke a sovereign national conference, let's have a document that will move Nigeria out of these things. That is what June 12 is about. You understand? Because, look, I have a document here. And I think this is the last one that can be found, if any. This is the work of Chief Anthony Enaro, led Pronaco. Here we have a draft of the Nigerian Constitution. And then we challenge the Obasanjo administration to test it in a referendum. This, President Buhari was also part of it. Professor Jadesala Akonde was part of it. Professor Shoyinka was part of it. Even the man that moved the motion for Nigerian independence was the one that led it.
Okay, so
many youth like myself were part of it. And this is the only thing that can take us out of this quagmire. We need a constitution that is made by the Nigerian people. Everybody comes on board. The issue of iPod will be resolved. The issue of the Arewa clamor will be resolved. The Yorubas, whatever issues would be resolved. They all came together. We agreed. Interest was brought in, and we move forward. The issue of electoral malpractices is also in it. How to resolve all of this contradiction. The issue of economic rejigging is also there. Women issue. Gender inequality, every restructuring issue are there. We will just continue to move around circles until we have a document that can protect the rights of every Nigerian.
We are wrapping up now. Is Nigeria being run by cabal according to Daily Mamodi? Do you agree?
Well, you can call it whatever name. Nigeria is being dwindled. I use the word dwindled by interest. Everybody have different interests and all of that. These interests can only be trapped if we all sit down together to agree on how to accommodate every interest. If you don't sit down to agree that, look, within the nation state, your interest be put here, be put here, be put here, and we firm it up, the nation state will continue to dwindle. And that is what you call a cabal. The cabal that dwindles the interest the most will have their say.
All right. Honorable Ayodele Adewale, thank you very much for coming on the program this morning. And all right, I'm getting instructions from our producer, but this is where we have to round up right now. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
And we also thank Alistair Shoyode for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for lending your voice this morning. Right.
Thank you.